If you're a print-on-demand seller on Etsy, you know that the Christmas season is an opportunity for big sales numbers in your shop. Today, we'll have a look at a popular item for the season that has the potential to bring in lots of sales. And then I'll take you through a step-by-step tutorial on how to make your own variation of this idea using Kittl and Printify. Let's jump in. Okay, so here we are on Etsy, and the item we're looking at today is ugly Christmas sweaters. So I've just typed in exactly that in the Etsy search bar, and it's brought up lots of options for ugly/funny Christmas sweaters. But the one I want to focus on today is a design similar to this one here, which says overstimulated but festive, and it has that kind of Scandinavian knitted pattern and knitted font on it. So let's have a look at some examples of that in particular. Starting with this one here that says, "Sorry Santa, been feral all year." And again, it has that kind of knitted pattern and knitted font. And then it looks like probably an AI generated raccoon wearing a Santa hat wrapped up in Christmas lights. And this kind of raccoon/opossum theme has been really popular on Etsy for the last couple of years, as well as the term feral. So I really like the combination of the ugly Christmas sweater with that idea. And this is kind of a new listing. If we look at our EverBee stats here, this has been only up for 1 month, so we're not getting any real stat info on that, but a really popular theme for this year. Next up is this one that says, "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal," which I believe is a quote from the movie Home Alone. So if you are interested in making something like this, I would definitely do your due diligence and make sure that that's not a trademark saying, just to be safe. It is all over Etsy right now, but that doesn't mean you're free and clear to go for it. So definitely do your research on that first. But nonetheless, makes for a really funny, cute Christmas sweater for Home Alone fans. And again, has that knitted Scandinavian pattern and font on it. This is in 20 plus baskets right now. Let's have a look at our EverBee stats here. This has been up for just 1 year and has sold a total of 44 times, bringing in a monthly revenue of $126, and looks like it's revving up to be a good seller for the shop this year as well. It's in 20 plus baskets right now. Next, we have this example, and this is an actual sweater. I don't think you can do this with print on demand, but I just wanted to show another example of something that's really popular right now, which is that combination of the feral raccoon theme with this kind of ugly Christmas sweater pattern. And this has had 20 plus views in the last 24 hours. Next, we have this one that says, "All I want for Christmas is PTO," which I believe stands for personal time off. So this is a design that's geared towards the office. So this is something someone could wear to their company Christmas party. And I think that's a really smart take on this idea. If you're wanting to do ugly Christmas sweaters, maybe think about different ways you can niche down into different categories to help yourself stand out a little bit. And this has 20 plus views in the last 24 hours. And it's been up for just a year and has had a total of 80 sales with $620 monthly revenue so far. Next up is this example that says, "Overstimulated but festive," and has again another raccoon wearing some sunglasses wrapped up in Christmas lights and giving the peace sign. And this is in 9 baskets right now. Let's have a look at our EverBee stats. This is really new and has already sold 2 times. So the fact that it's in 9 baskets as well already, it's only been up for a month, bodes really well for this to become a bestseller potentially for this shop. Here's another example from that same shop, and what they've done here, which I think is really smart, is taken that exact same design that we just looked at and then replaced the central figure, this time to be an opossum that's screaming and wrapped up in Christmas lights. So I think that's something to really consider if you want to get into this ugly Christmas sweater design category, to just build one design and then you can populate the center here with whatever character or idea you want, and potentially make dozens of different designs from this one kind of template that you've created. And this is really popular right now. It's in 20 plus baskets. And again, this has only been up for 1 year. This one has sold a lot better for them. This has almost had 300 sales so far in the first year, bringing in a monthly revenue of over $1,600. And again, it is in 20 plus baskets right now, so that lets us know this is going to be a very popular item for them this Christmas. So now that we have some ideas of what we're looking at, let's head over to Kittl, where we'll make our own variation of this idea. Quickly before we head over to Kittl, I wanted to come to Printify first, because I am going to be making my design to print on the Gildan 18,000 unisex heavy blend crew neck sweatshirt. So I wanted to come over here quickly first to get the print area dimensions so I can properly set up my design in Kittl. So as you can see here, it's letting us know that the print area size for this product is 38,052 by 4398 pixels. So that will help me set up my Kittl document to fit that design correctly. So now that we have that, let's head over to Kittl. Okay, so here we are on Kittl, and I'm just in their template section, and what I'm going to do is type in Christmas. And then I'm going to click on this button here, which says hoodies and sweatshirts. So that's going to bring up templates that are made to print on hoodies and sweatshirts. And as you can see here, it's already brought up instantly a lot of templates that fit the design idea we're looking at today. Just do a quick scroll through and show you just how many options there are. There's not just those kind of knitted designs, but there's tons of other really great looking templates. So I definitely recommend spending some time scrolling through all the options here. There are so many great ideas. There's one that I found in particular that I wanted to use for our example today, which is this one here. So I'm just going to click on Use Template. So that's brought us into our design interface here. And what I want to do first of all, you'll notice if you click on the title of the template here that selects the entire artboard that our template is on. And we can see over at the side here that the size of that artboard is quite small. So what I'm going to want to do first of all is create another artboard that is the size and dimension of our print area size for our Printify product. So to do that, I'm going to come down here and click on Artboard. And I'm just going to drag out a rectangle here, doesn't matter what size, because then I can come over here and change our width and height to fit the dimensions that we want. So I'm just going to do 4,000 by 4,500 to be approximately the same size as the Gildan 18,000 print area. So as you can see, that first artboard is quite small. And for whatever reason, Kittl template tend to be quite small in pixel size. So that's something you want to keep in mind. If you're printing on something as big as, say, a sweatshirt, you're going to definitely want to create another artboard at the correct size. So then what I'll do next is I'll just zoom in a bit here. I'm just going to select everything on that first artboard by selecting it and then hitting Command C and then clicking on our new artboard. I'll zoom back out a bit and hit Command V, and then that places all of the elements from that first artboard onto our larger artboard here. So I'm just going to drag that out a bit, I'm going to center it. Perfect. And then what I want to do is we are going to be printing on some darker colored sweatshirts. So like this first artboard, I want to make sure our background is a dark color. So to do that, I click on the actual artboard and then I can come over here to color and then I can change it to a black background. We're eventually going to want to export this with a transparent background, but for our design process, let's stick with a dark color so we can see what we're doing. So for this one, I want to run with that really popular theme we saw on Etsy just now, which is this kind of feral raccoon mixed with the ugly Christmas sweater design. So what I'll do first here is change our text. So I'm going to click on this text up top here, and I'm going to type in sorry, and then the next text here, I'm going to type in Santa. Perfect. And I'm noticing that the curvature on these is a little extreme. So to change that, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to get rid of the circle transformation element just by clicking this minus sign. So that makes it so that it's just perfectly in a straight line. And I'm going to place that back where I want it. I can come up here and click on center alignment to make sure it's in the center. Then I'm going to do the same thing for Santa here. This one I do want to have a curvature still, but I want it to be much less than what it is. So what I can do then is come over here and click edit, and then I'm going to zoom out a bit. You can drag that circle out to change how much of a curvature there is, and I want it to be quite slight here. So somewhere around that looks good to me. I'm going to zoom back in here, and then I'm just going to drag that up a little bit, and then again come over to alignment and make sure it's in the center. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now I'll change the text down here. What I want it to say down here is I've been. And then similarly to the top text, I want to get rid of the curvature entirely. Perfect. And then for the last word here, I want it to say feral. And same thing, I think I'll get rid of the curvature entirely. And I'll have to drag out the bounding box. And oops, I'll drag down feral and make sure that's centered. Perfect. Same thing, I'm going to drag down the I've been and make sure it's centered. Okay, great. Now I'm noticing that because we changed what the words are saying, it's kind of crowded our design elements a bit too close to the words here. So I'm going to change that as well. I'm just going to click on that. And these two elements have been grouped together, but I want them to be separate so I can move them around. So to do that with that selected, I'll come up here, click on these ellipses, and come over to ungroup and click on that. Perfect. And now I can drag these individual snowflakes off to the side. So I'm just kind of aligning them with the edge of the design here. Perfect. I'm going to want to do the same with these holly illustrations. So I'll click on them and ungroup them, and then just drag them over. I might actually size these down a little bit because it's still feeling a bit crowded. So I sized that one down and placed it, and then I'll just get rid of this other one, hit Command C and Command V to duplicate that one at that size, and just drag that over. So now what I want to do is replace this center image with a feral Christmas raccoon. So what I'm going to do is just click on that element and just drag it off to the side in case we want to use that element somewhere else in our design. So how we're going to create our feral raccoon is we're going to use Kittl AI. So I'm going to come over here to this sparkle button here, and then I'm going to type in our prompt here. So I'm going to write a raccoon wearing a Santa hat. He's tangled up in Christmas lights. And then I generally use DALL-E 3 as my generation model. And for this one, I'm going to use the clip art style. Again, I'm going to scroll down to get to the DALL-E 3, and I'm going to click on cartoon as my style. I'm going to use the 1-to-1 ratio, and I'm going to click generate image. Okay, let's have a look at what Kittl came up with. I'll just zoom in here. It's a pretty cute little image, and it does have a white background, so I can easily get rid of that by clicking on it and coming over here to remove background. And there we go. We have our cute little feral raccoon. So I'm going to play around with the composition a little bit. I think I want him to be a little bigger, and even overlapping with some of the text is fine. And then I'll just click center alignment to make sure he's in the center there. And I think that's looking pretty cute. I think what I'll do here is I'll ungroup these Santa elements so I can play around with their placement a bit and just drag them more off to the side as well. You could even remove these Santas and make other raccoon images, repeat this one, or put other design elements in there. I think they kind of make sense because we're talking about Santa in the design itself. So I think that's looking pretty cute. So now I'm just going to play around with the composition a bit more. I think the word Santa could be a bit larger. So I'm just going to drag that out on either side and then make sure it's centered. And then I'll drag that down a little bit. I think that looks pretty cute. And then I might just drag the Santas over and down a bit to create a bit more space for the word now. I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm thinking the space here looks a little empty. So what I might do is, let's see if I can find another element. So I'm going to come over to the illustrations button and I'm going to type in knitted Christmas. And Kittl will bring up a bunch of illustration options that fit that kind of knitted aesthetic. So we'll have a quick scroll through here. I think maybe using this little dancing reindeer might be a cute addition to the design. I'm going to size that down and drag that over and put him right there. Yeah, I think that looks kind of cute. So then I will duplicate that by clicking on it, hitting Command C and Command V, and drag it over to the other side. And then I want to flip it in the other direction. So I'm going to hit those ellipses up at the top and then choose flip horizontal. And there he is facing the other direction. And then what I might do with these snowflakes as well is ungroup them so I can move them as well. Perfect. I'm going to maybe just drag that up and off to the side a bit more, like so. And that gives us a bit more space for our little reindeer guys. Okay, it's looking pretty busy, but that's sort of the point of these designs, is they are busy and a little bit ugly, frankly. What I might do as well is duplicate these snowflakes a couple more times. Command C and Command V with that selected. And that creates another snowflake. And then I'll hit Command C and Command V on that one. Drag that over here. I'm trying to create symmetry in our design here for sure. And overall, I think that's looking pretty cute. Let's zoom out a little bit to get a perspective on it. I'm thinking one thing that's standing out to me is the raccoon and the Santas are kind of competing for attention here. I want the raccoon to be a little bit more of the central image. So what I'm going to do is size these Santas down a little bit. Something around there I think is good. So then I'm going to delete this one. Command C and Command V on that one. I'm doing that just because I want to keep them the exact same size on both sides. And then I'm going to flip this one horizontally as well, so he's facing inwards, and make sure he's at the same height as the other one. And there, and I think I might even just make our raccoon a little bit bigger as well. And then maybe move down our text just a little bit to make sure that's legible. And boom, I think that's looking like a pretty cute design overall. I am happy with that. Actually, you know what I might do is add just a couple more snowflakes next to the raccoon. So I'll hit Command C and Command V, drag this down, and these ones I'm going to make smaller. So somewhere around there. Command C and Command V to copy that and drag that over. And there we go. There's just a bit too much negative space there, and I think we have solved that. So I think we have created our design here. So the next thing we'll do, what we want is to have a transparent background for our export. So we'll come over here to the Layers menu, and I'm going to click on Artboard 2, and that shows all the layers in our design here. I'm going to scroll down to Background and just hit that eye icon, and that gets rid of our background. Now what we want to do is export that, so we'll come over here to the Export button, and we just want to export Artboard 2, so we'll select that. We do want it to be a PNG, but we want it to be at 300 dpi to get the highest quality print possible. We want to hit Remove Background, even though we've already done that, and then Optimize Quality, and then hit Download. And now that we've done that, we'll head back over to Printify to see what our design looks like on our sweatshirt. Okay, here we are back in Printify, and I'm just going to drag in the design we just made, and there it is on our sweatshirt. And as you can see, it's not showing up because this is a white sweatshirt. We're going to want to use only dark colored sweatshirts because that's what our design was made for. So let's come over to Select Variant. So we want to get rid of the white, and we want to choose maybe black would look good. I think red would look good for some designs because there is quite a bit of red in our design. For this particular one, that's not going to work. Let's see how it looks on dark chocolate. I like that. Maybe maroon would look nice as well. That's looking pretty good. And let's see, I think forest green is a really great Christmassy color. Maybe an indigo blue. I'm not crazy about that. Maybe more of a royal blue. I like that quite a bit. Navy's a good choice for this as well. Let's see, no, not heliconia. Maybe the purple. Let's just keep it with those few variants here. So we want to actually get rid of the white as an option. And so we've got black, dark chocolate, maroon, forest green, royal, and navy. The one I'm questioning a bit is the maroon. I might actually just leave that out. And that's what I would recommend. If there's any that you're even thinking might not print well, just leave it out as a choice for your customer. We don't want them being disappointed when something shows up and some of the elements aren't printing out nicely on that specific color. So you definitely want to spend some time and really make sure, it's a good idea to actually to zoom in at this point and make sure all the elements are very, very visible on all of the color variants that you've chosen. So I think that's looking good on those colors. And you'll notice too that we have a nice high resolution file here because we created it in Kittl at the correct size to fit on this print area. So I'm happy with that. What I'll do next is just have a look at our previews. So that'll show us what it looks like on the actual sweatshirts. And you can go through again and make sure it looks good on all of the colors. And I do think that looks pretty nice. So from here, you'll save your product and publish it to Etsy. Make sure you get some really nice looking mock-ups for your designs. There are really great options for the Gildan 18,000 sweatshirt on Etsy, mock-ups with kind of Christmassy themed backgrounds, which is definitely a worthwhile investment if you're selling Christmas themed designs on this particular product. You can also sell this design on t-shirts as well, or tote bags, etc. It's really up to you. And as we saw with one of the other examples, you could use this template over and over again and plug in different animals. You could put in a possum, you could put in whatever you want as your central design here and make a bunch of different designs using this one template from Kittl that we've edited and made our own a little bit. So that's another thing to really keep in mind when you are using the templates on Kittl, to make sure you change them enough so it really becomes your own design, because we don't want to be selling the exact same design as everyone else who uses Kittl with Etsy. And Kittl makes it really easy to do We didn't even change the colors in our design, and we easily could have done that as well, changing the color of the font, of the design elements as well. So I recommend definitely playing around with those templates in Kittl. They're so much fun and making your own original designs really, really easy. So do your research on Etsy, play around with these templates on Kittl, find your own way to kind of make these design ideas your own. Maybe think of ways you can niche down in this category and just have fun with it. So hopefully now you have a good sense of how to make your own ugly Christmas sweater design for your Etsy shop. As always, the examples and ideas shared in this video are only for inspiration. We never want to copy anyone else's designs, so be sure to come up with your own original spin. Will you be making any ugly Christmas sweaters for your shop? Let me know in the comments, as well as any ideas for other tutorials you'd like to see in the future. And if you're looking for more ideas on Christmas-themed designs, check out this video next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.